Though quite a few years have passed since the incident, the people of Chowchilla still remember the infamous school bus abduction from 1976. Welcome to our channel, and today we'll be presenting you with the case of the 1976 Chowchilla bus kidnapping, the abduction of a school bus driver and 26 children from ages 5 to 14. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to turn notifications on for more great videos like this one. Without further ado, let's begin. On Thursday, July 15, 1976, at roughly 4 p.m., school bus driver Frank Edward Ray, more commonly known as Ed, was transporting 26 students from the Dairyland Elementary School home from a summer class trip to the Chowchilla fairgrounds swimming pool. Suddenly, a van blocked the road right in front of the bus, prompting confusion from Ed and the kids. Ed Ray stopped the bus, and upon getting off, he was confronted by 3 armed men wearing nylon stockings on their faces. That's when the kidnapping begun. One of the men held a gun on Ray, while another drove the bus, the third man following the van right to prevent any possible witnesses or survivors. The kidnappers first hid the bus in the Berenda Slough, a branch of the Chowchilla River, where they had actually stashed a second van. You know, criminals during the time used to really plan ahead their crimes. As expected, both were painted black and reinforced. Ed Ray and the kids were forcefully taken into the 2 vans at gunpoint, driven for a whopping 11 hours, and were then taken to a quarry in Livermore, California. Some soiled themselves. Others held on desperately to those around them, paralyzed by fear. We really cannot imagine how much fear these kids felt when they were being driven around, but it's safe to say that it was quite a lot. This is when things took a turn for the worse. The kidnappers proceeded to force the victims to climb down a ladder into a buried moving truck that they had stocked up with a small amount of food, water, and mattresses. Ray and the older children stacked the mattresses, enabling some of them to reach the opening at the top of the truck, which was actually covered in a heavy sheet of metal and also weighed down with 100-pound industrial batteries. The bus driver and the older children stacked the mattresses, allowing some of them to reach the opening at the top of the truck. The criminals had, of course, planned ahead and covered the top of the truck with a heavy sheet of metal and weighed down with 2 100-pound industrial batteries to make things even more difficult for the victims to escape. However, Ray and the oldest boy, a 14-year-old tween named Michael Marshall, managed to open the lid with a piece of wood and force the batteries away. They proceeded to dig away the remainder of the debris, blocking the entrance. 16 hours had passed in total after the kids and the driver were forced inside the mysterious buried truck, and the group emerged and walked to the quarry's guard shack near the Shadow Cliffs East Bay Regional Park. The quarry owner's son, Frederick Newell Woods IV, was one of the first suspects, being one of the few people to have the keys to the quarry at his disposal. On top of that, he and 2 of his friends, Richard and James Schoenfeld, had also been convicted of grand theft auto previously. It was pretty obvious that this gang of criminals was the one behind the crime. Turns out that they had intended a ransom of $5 million, but they were even unable to call in because the police department was overblown by the amount of media calls and families searching for their kids. All 3 criminals were deep in debt despite coming from wealthy families, so they chose children believing that the state would be willing to pay anything for them. Of course, they did not expect these kids and the driver to be even more clever than they were. All 3 perpetrators pleaded guilty to kidnapping for ransom and robbery and were sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole. So far, both Schoenfeld brothers have been released, Richard in 2012 and James paroled on 2015. Frederick Woods was denied parole for the 19th time in 2019, with his next hearing set for 2024. So, what are your thoughts on this incredibly terrifying, but at the same time surprising, case of kidnapping? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more great videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed today's case, and we'll see you next time.